Estee Lauder. So Estee Lauder is a funny one here, okay? So first off, you've never heard of Estee Lauder. They own almost all the big makeup brands that are on the high end, okay? We're not talking about, these aren't the makeup brands you're gonna find at Walmart, okay? These are makeup brands that their products can be $50, $100, $150, $200. Like these are high-end products, okay? Now, when it comes to Estee Lauder, their margins are always amazing. And the company has these brands that are just so well established on the highest tier possible, right? But with that being said, the company's gone through some problems recently, right? And if you look at the stock price for Estee Lauder, this is actually horrible performance, 16% in a 5-year span, horrible performance for Estee Lauder, right? Now, Estee Lauder has been a company that always figures it out, turns the baby around, and gets the ship back going in the right direction. And I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 12 months, this ship gets in the right direction and starts kind of moving from there. But these sorts of companies just are not the attractive play right now. You know, not the attractive play right now. This is sorts of businesses that are really being hurt over the past several quarters. I don't believe it's going to last long term. I believe it's going to last short term. Let's just call it that when it comes to a stock like Estee Lauder. Now, when it comes to Estee Lauder, this is a stock that's, over time, a phenomenal stock. It's even after this insanity drop here, the stock still is up nearly 1,700% over the years. Oh, we're switching cameras. Hello, there we go. New camera alert. Nearly 1,700% over time, right? So the company's performed tremendous, certainly since the great financial crisis. They're going through a lot of troubles in the short term. I think those troubles will start to abate probably in the next year. And then, the company will get back going in the right direction. In the meantime, e.l.f. has really stolen the thunder of the entire makeup industry. I mean, the numbers from e.l.f. have been absolutely incredible. It's a stock I own. It's, given me a 1,777% return on my 1,000 shares I have here. It's done tremendous. And they've just been doing the best job running their business. This is the most well-run makeup beauty-related company in the world right now. It used to be Estee Lauder, and e.l.f. took the mantle. But the thing that's the difference between e.l.f. is e.l.f. is perfectly positioned for a market like we've been going through. High inflation, consumer got hit bad, right? That's perfect. That's right up e.l.f.'s alley, because this is what I always called out since I started investing in e.l.f. in 2019. This is a company, when we talk about e.l.f., that really caters to the masses, right? Most e.l.f. products are under $15. Many of them are under $10. It's not like an Estee Lauder that needs to sell to somebody that has a big budget and can afford a $100 product, a $150 product, a $75 product. For e.l.f., you spend $75, you can get a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all high quality. That's what the consumers have always said over time in regards to e.l.f. And so this is a company that's it's stolen the thunder, and it's got it right now. It's got it. I don't know if it lasts forever, but right now it certainly has it. And we'll see. I think there's a world where e.l.f. can do very well and Estee Lauder can do very well, right? And I have no position, obviously, in Estee Lauder, but I might in the future. It's a great company, and they are at the highest end. Winning Resorts is the first of these 7 stocks. Now, Wynn Resorts, I always have called it Winning Resorts over the years, but to be quite frank, over the last many years, it's been losing resorts. And the reason being is obviously the government shut down let's just call it their locations, right? The Las Vegas properties were closed for a while. Then those opened back up. But then the Macau location, Macau in general, which is a huge region for Wynn Resorts, they kind of opened it as far as the Chinese government. Then they shut it down. Then they limited it. It was a mess for 3 years. Basically, from the start of 2020 all the way through the beginning of 2023, it was a mess. Things have opened back up there. It's about to be winning resorts once again, okay? From losing resorts to winning resorts again. Now, if you don't know Wynn and Encore, they operate the premium properties on the Las Vegas Strip. They operate Wynn and Encore. These are the highest end properties out there, the most well-run properties on the Strip by far and away. And these are sorts of properties that really attract the VIPs, big money, the higher end of the mass, and the type of people that go to Wynn and Encore. They spend a lot on the gaming floor, and these folks also spend a lot on the restaurants, the retail. You're going to see stores in there like Louis Vuitton, Rolex, all the highest end brands in the world. They all want to be associated with Wynn and Encore because that's it's the creme de la creme customer base out there. They also operate a property, Encore Boston Harbor, right outside Boston. And this is an interesting property because they basically sold the building and the land to basically like a real estate investment trust, and so they kind of have a sale leaseback situation going on. But Wynn actually operates the property inside, obviously the hotel, obviously the gaming floor and the restaurants and all those sorts of things. So that's an interesting kind of arrangement there. They could do something like that with Las Vegas if they want to long term. We'll see. They also operate these two properties on the old part of the Macau area, Wynn and Encore. These were their two first properties in the Macau region. They've historically been extremely profitable properties for them, except for the last 3 years when Macau was shut down. And then they also operate the big dog, Wynn Palace, which is, the last super massive project under the Steve Wynn kind of era that he opened up. And, unfortunately, this property was just starting to ramp in a major way, and then the shutdowns came, obviously, in 2020. So, we still haven't even really got to see yet how successful Wynn Palace can really be over the coming years. Now, on top of that, they also own one of the rare undeveloped pieces of land on the Las Vegas Strip. This piece of land is directly across from the Wynn in the Encore. It's one of the very few undeveloped pieces of land on the Strip that's on a great piece of strip. I mean, you got Treasure Island right over here. You got Palazzo and Venetian right here. You got this is over here is the mall, which is the best mall, fashion show mall in Las Vegas. So I mean, this property is the creme de la creme. So I don't know if Wynn's just going to sit on the land and sell it to somebody, or if they're going to eventually develop something on it. But that's a pretty interesting piece of real estate they own. And then on top of that, they're building a property right now in the Middle East, which is a very extraordinary opportunity. That's, can't get excited about that anytime soon. And they're partnering with some folks in regards to that deal. That's going to be more of a 2026, 2027 and beyond story in terms of that Middle East property. Now, in terms of Wynn Resorts, this is a company that was losing resorts for a while there, right? While you had the Macau shutdowns and everything going on, and they kept missing earnings. Wynn historically was a company that usually was known for hitting earnings, beating earnings, right? Well, very recently, they're starting, now that Macau's starting to open back up again, they're starting to beat their earnings again. They beat it, 2 quarters ago. They beat it this past quarter as well. And if you look at analyst estimates for this company, they have them doing about 324 current year for the company. 2024, they have them doing 471. That puts it at about a 30 forward P for this year's numbers in 21. But keep in mind, I have a pretty high confidence level that they're going to crush those numbers. We got Vegas F1 race coming in November. That's the biggest thing pretty much to happen in Vegas ever. I mean, the amount of money that's going to be attracted F1 weekend is ridiculous. I can't even explain that. Then you have the Super Bowl coming to Vegas 2 months later. It doesn't get better for Vegas and for the Vegas properties. Macau's getting back to big numbers that we're going to go through in just a moment. So I'm pretty confident that Wynn's going to come in and crush, absolutely obliterate some number. Now, in terms of Macau GGR, gross gaming revenue, up 3% on July, new high since the Rona era, right? Macau's August casino gross gaming revenue rose 3.3% month over month to, let's call it $2.13 billion. Now, this is extraordinary for Wynn and extraordinary, obviously, for all the operators in Macau, because all these folks have been losing a fortune in Macau for basically the past 3 years, and now these guys are finally getting back to profitability in Macau again, and it's going to boost their businesses in an epic way. The August tally was up 686% from August 2022, which goes to show you the sort of growth that's going on in Macau right now with it finally being opened back up. Now, keep in mind, the growth is kind of accelerating here, because if you look at this, the latest data took Macau's gross gaming revenue 8 months to August 31st, and that was up about almost 300%. But the recent numbers are up almost 700%, right, on a year-over-year basis, which kind of goes to show you that in terms of Macau, it's really accelerating. It's accelerating rapidly. And what that's going to end up producing for Wynn for profitability is going to be enormous for this company for obviously many years to go in the future, but certainly right now. Now, in terms of the dividend for the stock, it's only a 1% yield, but keep in mind, now that Macau is going to likely get back to huge profitability again, don't be surprised if that dividend gets upped quite substantially over the next several years and Wynn starts to become a major dividend stock once again. So, in regards to Wynn Resorts, absolutely love this one, and it's one of those stocks I can feel comfortable. All the stocks I'm listing off here today in this video, all these stocks are stocks that I feel comfortable investing in during a recession, during a good economy, and a so-so economy. That's all these companies we're about to go through here today. Wynn Resorts is one of those companies. It doesn't matter. A recession, a great economy, an okay economy, regardless of what's going on out there, I feel comfortable investing in a company like Wynn Resorts. They cater to the highest end of folks that like to travel around the world. And that's just a very attractive market. And just keep in mind, rich people are always rich, okay?